There is nothing quite like opening up a pair of hoop shoes that has been hyped for months and months and months. Hey guys, my name is Hayden Jones, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a full performance review and unboxing of the AE1 lows that just dropped. I actually never played in a pair of the AE1 mids before, so this will actually be my first time playing in a pair of AE1s, which I knew would be a problem because I want to be able to compare the two. So I actually went ahead and got the AE1 mids as well from this Ascent pack, but I'm going to be trying to keep this AE1 low performance review mostly dedicated to the AE1 lows, and then in about half a week or a week from now, I'm going to be dropping a review that compares the two. So if you're watching this about a week or less than a week after this video comes out, be sure to go and check out my other video because that video is going to actually compare the two in case you've been wondering which one to go for. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into these things. I've never actually seen a pair of AE1s in person, so this is a very exciting moment for me. And I love this box, by the way, having a little drawer in here. Let's take a look at these bad boys. Man, I've heard so much about the AE1s. Literally everybody's talking about how they're one of the best hoop shoes of the year. And I'm honestly kind of flabbergasted that I haven't tried out a pair for myself yet. I don't really know what I've been doing this entire time, but I finally got a pair here, and it's the lows. It's not even the originals. And now that you've seen me unbox these things and you've seen some nice B-roll, I'm actually gonna throw these in the car, take them to the court, and start playing in these things so I can get you guys a performance review as quickly as possible. So with that being said, I'll see you guys when I see ya. All right, for my temporary setup, I'm out here in my hometown where I wish I could honestly film every day because this is the most gorgeous background I've ever had. And we're gonna be talking about the AE1 lows. I played in these for like just over a week, which is why it's taken a while to get this video out, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to play in these, really get a good feel for them, because I had a lot of different opinions throughout my process playing in these. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into this review with the aesthetics. And also, actually before that, there's a graphic I'm gonna be putting up right here. This shows you how my reviews work. It's a breakdown of how I grade each shoe. There's different point totals for different categories, with aesthetics, support, traction, and materials and quality being some of the big ones. And at the end of the review, it's going to be a total grade out of 100. That way you can compare it to other shoes that I've reviewed in the past and other shoes that I will review in the future. So anyways, like I was saying, first up is the aesthetics. This is going to be out of 15, and for this shoe, I'm going to give it a 14 out of 15. It is definitely not overrated when it comes to the hype that it's been getting for the aesthetics. And it's actually really hard to compare whether or not I like the lows more or the highs more. Or the mids, I should say. But I think that I'm actually leaning towards the lows, especially in this colorway. Maybe in some of the other colorways, I do prefer the mids. But in this colorway, and especially that mural colorway that is dropping on August 5th, we just found out, just an insanely clean colorway. I will be grabbing that one because I actually wanted to get that mural colorway instead of this one, but this is the first one that we got, so I had to jump on it as soon as it dropped. But I really do like this low cut. I think that it honestly looks even better with this cutoff here, and it's a little more beefy around the ankle area, whereas this thinner material still looks cool, but this definitely looks like a more lifestyle friendly shoe overall. So I think I might prefer it to the mids, but I'll try to hold off comparisons because like I said, that's going to be for my next video where I compare these two and pick which one I like more as a whole. Our next category is support. The support in these was really solid. Adidas typically has pretty wide based shoes, and I didn't have any issues turning my ankles in these or feeling at all like there was a rough area for support. I felt very supported in these, and even though it's a low top, it didn't make a difference in terms of the support. I probably barely even felt a difference overall between the support in these two. And so I'm gonna have to give the support in these a 12 out of 15. The only reason I'm taking a few points off for the support is because I have felt more supportive shoes before. The Adidas AE 6s, 5s, and 1s are like some of the most supportive shoes ever, and I do think that those are quite a bit better than these when it comes to support. So I'm taking a few points off, but overall, you're not really going to notice any issues with the support in these, so I'm still giving it a really good score. Next up, we got the most important category when it comes to basketball shoes, and that is traction. That's why this category is worth 20 points instead of 15, 10, or 5. The traction on these things is super nice. I really, really, really like the traction pattern on these. It actually kind of like protrudes out at the top of these like triangular shapes, and then it kind of like sinks back in where these cutouts are. And whatever they did with the rubber compound and just the traction pattern, it works super well. I got a super hard bite on these. I had to wipe every now and then, but it wasn't anything crazy. I think that in terms of at least the lows, I still prefer the Adidas AE 6s, and the reason I'm kind of comparing those a lot is because they just came out at like the exact same time essentially. So those are like the two most popular Adidas models right now, and I think I do still prefer those a little bit over these because I had to wipe even less in those. Maybe that was just the day that I went to the gym or whatever, but the traction in these was incredibly solid regardless, and so I'm going to be giving the traction a 17 out of 20, which is an amazing score. It's definitely top tier in terms of recent basketball shoes that I have been playing in. Next up, we have the materials and the quality. Overall, I think the materials and the quality on these are really good. Aside from like some glue stains that are around the rubberized bits on the upper here, the quality is really good. And I see a lot of people complaining about the glue stains, but it's literally a rubberized piece of upper that is glued down to this knit upper. So of course you're gonna see some glue stains. Like, that's not even a big deal in my opinion. And I get why people are like, oh, you know, we're paying $110, it should be better quality. But like, it's a factory made shoe. There's gonna be some glue stains. Overall, the quality is really good, and I think that people should actually be grateful for how much good quality materials Adidas put into such a cheap shoe. While the upper really is just like a knit and rubber material, it's overall really solid and definitely worth $110. I'm giving the materials and quality a 13 out of 15. The only reason I'm not giving it a perfect score is because it is still pretty cheap material, and this is not real carbon fiber. If it was, it would probably be a 15 out of 15, but it's just a plastic material that they use on the back here to look like carbon fiber. But even with that, the quality and the materials on this shoe are really solid, and they make this shoe feel a lot more premium than a lot of their models, and it's for way less money than, say, a pair of Yeezys. Also, by the way, just to interject, we're about to hit 900 subscribers, which I'm so thankful for. I started this channel not that long ago, and the growth has just been like crazy. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. If you enjoy my reviews, it would be super awesome if you liked and subscribed. I've been pouring a lot of my time into this channel, and you know, I don't make any money from it. It's just a passion project, and so I really appreciate all of the support. Every single time I get a nice comment from somebody, or even just a suggestion, it makes me feel like I'm definitely doing something that is worth my time. So I really appreciate all the support, and if you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing and liking the video. Next up, we have the cushion, and the cushion in these things is amazing. It's a combination of light strike, which you can actually see poking through here, which is not visible on the mid tops, but you can see them here on the lows, the light strike poking through. I believe it's regular light strike, but it could be light strike pro. I'll have to look it up. And then on the back, you have light boost, which is so awesome. The new boost material, and this is a $110 shoe, by the way. We'll get into price later, but it's just crazy that you get a mixture of like two of the best hoop cushion materials that Adidas has right now in the same shoe. So the cushion on these, I'm giving a 14 out of 15. I think the only reason it's not a 15 out of 15 is that boost, even the light boost, is still a bit of a heavy cushion. So it's not like the most perfect cushion ever. But what I do love about these things is if you look beneath the insole, which I'll take out here, it's got one of those windows that looks through into the boost. So when you're playing in these, you can feel the cushion under your foot. I've actually also worn these as a lifestyle shoe as well, because I wanted to see, you know, how they felt as a lifestyle shoe. And I see a lot of people wearing these lifestyle, which I love, because I think that basketball shoes should be worn however you want them, people. Come on, let's just wear them. And I really enjoyed wearing them for lifestyle purposes because it feels similar to like an Ultra Boost. I mean, with that boost directly beneath your heel, that's where you feel it the most anyways. And the cushion is just awesome on these, even if you want to just wear them lifestyle. Up next, we have the fit for these. I'm going to be giving the fit a 3 out of 5. And here's why. So basically, when I was doing my research on this shoe before I bought it, I saw a lot of people saying go a half size up, and I saw a decent number of people saying go a half size down, which is really confusing to me because I didn't know what to do. So I went true to size. I got a 10.5, which is what I wear in most Adidas hoop shoes, and it was really long for me personally. I think the people who said to go a half size up were talking about the narrowness in the forefoot, and I'm not a wide footer myself, but I didn't feel like they were that narrow in the forefoot. Maybe that was for the mids, but wearing these, I didn't feel like they were that narrow either. So overall, the fit was just really confusing on these. I saw so many conflicting opinions, and when I went true to size, I wasn't super happy with the fit. I had a little more room in my toes than I typically like to have, which means moving forward, I'm gonna go with a size 10. I actually bought a size 10 in the mids because I wanted to have two different sizes so that I could know whether or not the 10 was better, the 10.5 was better, or if neither worked, if I had to go to an 11, which I was hoping I wouldn't have to do. But now I know that I'm going to be going with a size 10 in these, which for me is a half size down. If you're a wide footer, I would go true to size. I really don't think going up a half size would be necessary unless you're like an extreme wide footer, but that's just my personal take. I think the fit is a little wonky in these things. Also, another reason I'm giving the fit a 3 out of 5 is maybe it was just the sizing, again, with this being a little long for me, but the heel slippage was not amazing. I was getting a little bit of it unless I had it like extremely locked down. And again, that's probably just the fit and the sizing that I went with. So I'm trying not to take too many points off for that. But the heel slippage was like mediocre. I had a few different times where my heel was slipping out, and they did a pretty good job at beefing up the ankle collar so that that wouldn't happen, but I still experienced it a little bit, so that's definitely something to note, but it's not bad. And then next up we have the weight. Again, I haven't weighed these yet. I'll put the weight up right here. But I will say the weight in the lows is definitely better than the mids. That's one of the best drawing points to these. And so I'm gonna be giving the weight a 3 out of 5. The weight's still not great in these. The Adidas U6s are significantly lighter. And like I said, I haven't weighed these yet, but I just know that that's true because wearing them on feet, you can just tell the difference. The good thing about these is that they're not like atrocious, and they're definitely less bottom heavy than the mids, because I think the mids used a lot more of this rubber material, but they are still just very heavy for a hoop shoe, a little bit heavier than I tend to play in and enjoy playing in, but they're still not too bad. So it's not something that ruins the shoe for me. Next up, we have the durability. The durability, I'm giving a 3 out of 5 on these. That's mostly just because for outdoor use, I don't think these are a great option. I've seen some people playing them outdoors, but these grooves, while they're fairly deep, which is good, they are super pliable. Like, you can really squeeze these things just with your fingertips. So I do worry that they are gonna be pretty bad for outdoor use and just probably get worn off the bottom of those shoes. For indoor use, you should be fine, as most hoop shoes are for indoor use. But for outdoor use, I would say that these are gonna be mediocre when it comes to durability. There's a lot of like really great, rubber around the entire shoe, which is going to mean that this upper is not going to wear at all. The upper is not going to have any problems, but the outsole traction pattern is definitely going to have some problems if you're wearing it outside, which is the most important thing. If you wear through the traction, there's no point in wearing the shoe, so that's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 for durability. And last but not least, we have the price. The price is an absolute 5 out of 5. This is a $110 shoe. It's basically Adidas's cheapest basketball shoe right now. I don't think that there's anything cheaper except for like if you're talking about discounts, because then the Adidas U5s are like $50 right now. So that's a great shoe and it's really cheap. But when it comes to shoes at full retail price, this is one of the cheapest options, if not the cheapest option for a signature shoe that Adidas is offering. The Adidas U6s are pretty close at $120, and even the mids are $120. But the $110 price point is pretty amazing for a shoe that performs this well. I mean, this is a great performer despite those little qualms that I had with it. Don't get it twisted. This is an amazing shoe, and it's worth all of the hype that it's been getting. And I totally understand why people have been freaking out over the AE1s the entire year. So with all that being said, the final score for this shoe is going to be an 85 out of 100, but don't go away just yet because I do want to talk about a couple of other things that people might be interested in that I didn't touch on in the categories, namely the court feel on this shoe. The court feel is actually really solid in my opinion. There is a decent amount of cushion underfoot, so it's not like amazing or anything, but the court feel is really nice. I mean, you don't feel like you're sitting that high off the ground because you're really not. Despite there being a really good cushion setup underneath your foot, it's not super thick. So the court feel could be better. And if you're really into court feel, then maybe this isn't the best shoe in the world for that, but it is really solid for the cushion setup that you're getting under your foot. And for the bounciness in this shoe, which I really like talking about because my play style involves a lot of high jumping. I really enjoy dunking as well, so that's a very important trait for all basketball shoes for me. For the bounciness in these, it wasn't amazing. I did feel pretty fast in these. Like, it wasn't like a super heavy weight underneath my foot that made me feel like I was playing slow, but I didn't feel as fast as I did in, say, the Adidas U6s, which I know I keep comparing these to, or like the Cosmic Unity 2s. I felt a little bit faster in those as well, and I think that was because of the curvature, which that's another thing I wanted to talk about. The curvature on the outsole on this is pretty solid. It's just not incredible. It's not like flat or anything. Like, you can see there's still a pretty decent heel to toe transition in these, but it's just not as curved on the heel as it could be, and same thing in the forefoot. So I didn't feel super fast in these as compared to some of the other shoes that I've been playing in, but I didn't feel slow in these either, and I didn't feel like I was jumping super low either. I felt like they were still bouncy enough, but Boost is kind of notorious for not being a great shoe to jump in because it kind of absorbs a lot of that shock. and that's good for landings. It's just not great for takeoffs. So if you're looking for a shoe that's gonna make you feel bouncy and super, super fast, this isn't the #1 option in the world, but it's definitely not bad. And so yeah, with all that being said, it's coming in still with a really solid score of 85, which is just 3 points below the Dawn Issue 6s. And then, like I said, be sure to stay tuned because I'm going to be comparing these. In fact, I'm gonna probably record that video right now, so you're gonna see me in the same location for my next video. But I'm gonna be doing a side-by-side direct comparison of the mids and the lows in case you haven't bought either one yet and you're trying to figure out which one you would rather buy, or in case you wanna just spend less money and you're trying to figure out whether or not you should buy the upcoming mural colorway or one of the upcoming mid colorways. I'm here to help and try to help you decide whether or not the lows are worth it or the mids are worth it. But with all of that being said, the AE1 lows are a huge W, one of the best shoes I've played in this year, which I keep saying about like every shoe I've reviewed, but a lot of the shoes I've reviewed on this channel, in fact, I think all of them so far have been Adidas basketball shoes, and Adidas basketball is killing it right now. Let me know what shoe you want me to review next. I'm definitely trying to figure out what I want to get in the pipeline in terms of sneaker reviews, and instead of throwing the shoe at the camera like I typically do to end my video, I'm just gonna front flip into the pool, so enjoy.